Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, May 11th edition. I'm Jessica Lopez.
And I'm Darren Ganji.
And This Week Inside Sim Racing is sponsored by iRacing.com, where you can get 3 months for the price of one by going to our website, InsideSimRacing.tv.
Or we have a link in our forums, actually, at the website Jessica just mentioned, where it takes you to DT Planet, and there is a long list of promo codes, our old truck promo codes there. As a matter of fact, we got a new promo code coming up for an event. We have our next special event coming up at the end of June, and we're going to tell you about it here at the end of the show.
Okay, we're going to start things off on today's show by talking about 4 of the major sim racing series from around the globe, starting with Formula Sim Racing, where they headed to round 3 at Shanghai.
Before we get to round 3, round 2 is at Sepang back on April 22nd, and Bono Hui won that race, and Morgan Morand of Team ATR Management, team we actually sponsor, came in second, making it a tie for the championship coming into round 3. And so, which one of these guys is going to be the points leader after this race, Jess?
Well, needless to say, we're rooting for Morgan, but he's got some stiff competition from the reigning champion, Huis. For round 3, and our driver, Morand, sat on the pole for the 3rd race in a row and was looking like he was the man to take the points lead.
But reigning champ Hui had his sights set on that points lead and took the lead into turn 1 and never really looked back. This race actually turned out to be the least exciting of the season, as Morand was never able to close that gap to fight for the win.
Jocko Mikkonen rounded out the podium and was never able to pressure Morand for that 2nd spot. There was, however, a long race battle for 4th between Gergel Baldi and John Eric Saxon, with Baldi taking 4th position and Saxon 5th. Yannick Lopshin was able to hold on to the 6th spot, picking up a few championship points.
And with Bono Hui claiming his 2nd win of the season, he also claimed the top spot in the championship with 68 points. Followed by Morand with 61, and way back in 3rd is Fredrik Nielsen with 23 points.
So after 3 rounds, do you think anyone can catch these guys?
I don't know. That is a really big gap to close, but there are 12 races left in the championship, and anything can happen, just like we've seen, in other championship series, and we're going to talk about later. With 12 races left in the season, anything can happen. But with the pace these guys are setting, highly unlikely.
Well, there's been a schedule change, and they were originally going to Spain next. Now they're going to Monaco on the weekend of May 19th.
Yep.
So we'll see them there. And you can tune in at Sim Race TV to check it out. And we'd also like to thank FSR for the highlights for their current race. We have a link to the full report here in the description of our show.
And we also actually have a new broadcast calendar at our site that their schedule is going to be there, the next series we talk about, and any top series that's going to be broadcast, we're going to have in this calendar section at our site. So just check there at our site if you want to tune into some of these broadcasts. We're going to have a link at pretty much every page at our site to all the current broadcasts.
So we mentioned the Touring Pro Series that had their season opener of 2012 with the virtual V8 supercar. And that took place on April 28th.
Yep.
Florian Strauss was looking to defend his 2011 title and see if he could win 5 in a row, as he won the last 4 of 2011 en route to his title.
And this season brought a new level of talent with names like Peter Casa, David Greco, and Kevin Brents joining the field to see if they can take down that reigning champ. But Strauss really knows these cars and track, it seems, and would sit on the pole with a 152.080. The rest of the top 5 on the grid would be made up of Slade, Casa, Levesque, and Davis.
This race would see a lot of action, as these cars are made to survive contact. The series was actually split into 2 races, one with 29 drivers and one with 30. The top split got the top points, and that's the race we're reporting on. Congratulations to Ross McGregor for winning that 2nd split.
Back to the first split, although some exciting racing went on, it was really the Florian Strauss show, and he defended his title and streak in dominant fashion.
But the winner of the race, Strauss, sliding it around the final corner. A superb performance from the 2011 and reigning champion, of course.
The big names that showed didn't have that big of a race. Casa was the only one to crack the top 5, finishing in 5th. The rest of the top 5 was made up of Jesper Tolberg, Toby Davis, and as we mentioned, Peter Casa.
And we'd like to thank the Touring Pro Series for the footage that we just showed there. That's from their really cool recap that they put together. Again, we're going to have a link to that in our description. Tune in this Saturday, May 12th at 18:45 GMT for the second round of the championship at Barbagallo. Probably got the name of that track wrong. And we'll have a link to that in our calendar as well.
All right, well, next up, a series that you've actually broadcast and we've mentioned a lot here on the show before is the iRacing World Championship Series. And they also had a race on April 28th at Okayama for round 5. Coming into this round, Gregor Hutu was dominating the standings with a 43-point lead over reigning champion Hugo Luis.
Hutu would grab the pole and was looking to extend that points lead, but got a bad start, spun his tires, and Luis grabbed the lead heading into turn 1 and never looked back en route to his second win of the season and the series lead.
On top of Gregor's bad start, from there things only got worse as he struggled to find his way past his teammate Luke McLean. Running just a few car lengths from his teammate's rear wing, Hutu had nowhere to go when the Australian went off, exiting the final turn on lap 11.
McLean's car snapped loose one way, then the other, resulting in Hutu T-boning him, ending both Team Redline drivers' day. This led another Team Redline driver, Ati Kirchhoff, trying to capture his first win, but his 3-stop strategy didn't pay off, and he settled for second and his first podium of the season. Ben Cornett also grabbed his first podium, rounding out the top 3.
Luis's win and Hutu's early retirement completely changes the face of the championship and leaves things wide open. What was a healthy advantage for Hutu has become a 6-point deficit. Despite his retirement, McLean holds on to third in the standings, but is 78 points behind Hutu.
He's 5 points ahead of Roland Enstrom, who's only a point ahead of Jake Sturgis. The series heads to Road America this weekend, the 12th, Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'll be in the booth with Chris Hall, and we'll be calling the shots, and everything's up in the air this weekend now that, what happened at the last race, so going to be interesting to see.
All right, well, while we're on the subject of iRacing World Championship Series, we head to the NASCAR side of things as they head to Richmond for round 6. Ray Alfala held a very small points lead over our driver, Michael Conti, coming into this round.
Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Michael Conti. We're now sponsoring him, and also our seat is sponsoring him for the rest of the season, so I'd like to give a shout out to him. He was leading the points, is now in second, but
still a good job.
He's doing a great job, great guy, young kid. I mean, this guy's only, I think, 14, 15 years old, and he holds himself like an adult out there with the interviews he's done, so we're really proud to be on his car for the remainder of the season. So back to the race report and back to Richmond. And although a shorter track, I was expecting a really bad start, and they had a great start. Very few cautions at the beginning of the race, but unfortunately, they didn't end that way. They had a lot of cautions at the end of the race. Tire strategy and when to pit for them ended up being the story of the night, though, when Steve Sheehan first took the lead on lap 144 of 200. But it was the decision not to pit when the rest of the field did on lap 168 that put him in the position to win.
Alex Warren, Joshua Lawton, and Florian Goddard tried the same strategy, but were unable to defend their positions from the guys on the fresh rubber. Sheehan had the luxury of being the leader, which meant he dictated the pace on several restarts, allowing him to build cushion over the drivers with new tires. Sheehan also took his first win of the season, followed by Gorlinski and Ottinger, who was able to finish on the podium in third.
The biggest story of the night, though, was what happened to the two guys at the top of the standings. Both at one point ran in the top 5, and Alfala even led a ton of laps, but didn't end there, unfortunately. Both ended up crashing, and although Michael Conti finished higher than Alfala was able to retain his points lead because he led some laps and got that extra 5 bonus points. Schoenberg, despite a mediocre season, sits in third, tied with Ottinger, 23 points behind Conti, who is now 6 points behind Alfala. Tune into round 7 of the championship this Tuesday night, May 15th at 9 Eastern Time, as the series heads to the Lady in Black, or the track that is too tough to tame.
All right, well, that wraps up the first half of the show. Stay tuned. When we return, we have some GT Academy news, and we also have Rearview Mirror with John Hill.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we saw him pick... Oh, Luke McLean spun right behind here. Gregor Hutu T-bones him.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels, including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com. Tamiya's extensive lineup of radio-controlled vehicles provides hobbyists with the joy of running exact replicas of their favorite car, tank, or off-road vehicle. Another attraction of these vehicles is their use of high-grade materials such as nylon resin, carbon fiber, and polycarbonate. With precise mechanical systems, the maintenance and adjustment of the various components as well as performance upgrading with optional parts allows for truly competitive racing. For more information about Tamiya, visit us at www.tamiyausa.com.
Welcome back to the show. We're going to start things off by talking about the 2012 GT Academy Championship, which is back as of May 1st. And this championship this time around is probably the biggest one yet. It's available to players in over 15 countries.
It's huge.
Yeah, and players can download the game for free. It's a demo version or a mini version of the game that's available on the PlayStation 3 network through the store. And it consists of 8 consecutive time trial events.
Yeah, you just need to be a member, on the PlayStation Network to get it. And players will have from May 1st through June 24th to download it. And new rounds will be released every 2 weeks. The next 2 rounds, which are 3 and 4 as a matter of fact, will be coming this Monday, May 14th. Rounds 5 and 6 will be Monday, May 28th, which is Memorial Day weekend. And rounds 7th and 8th will be released on Monday, June 11th. And you'll be able to participate in all those rounds as you go. So if you don't come in until June, you'll still be able to do rounds 1 through 5 or 6 or whatever.
Right. All right, well, seems like a lot of players have already begun. Within the first 24 hours of the launch of GT Academy, over 63,000 players from around the world drove over 2 million miles in over 3 million attempts at the game's 10 available time trials. This is the equivalent of driving over 80 times around the world.
That is amazing.
And that's a lot of driving.
That's a lot of miles.
And you've contributed to some of those miles, haven't you?
Actually, not those miles, but now there's been over 100,000 participants when I joined. I joined in a couple days after the launch, and I'm part of it now. I've now done both rounds 1 and 2, so I'm waiting for round 3 and 4 this weekend. But that is just unbelievable.
And how'd you do so far in round 1 and 2?
I did pretty good on one of the rounds. I was in the top 2,500. So if 100,000 people plus participated in that one, I did pretty good. This one's a lot different, it seems, than the last one, where you don't need to be in the top 100 or 200 or so to advance. The bottom line is you have to do all these like time trials or like license classes in Gran Turismo and get trophies, gold, silver, bronze. I golded every one of them to advance. So I'm ready for round 3. And I think the one that's going to really count is round 8. So the one in June, I think that's when they're going to take the top 32 from each one of the different regions, and those are going to go to the local finale, and then those top guys are going to go to the GT Academy.
Well, there's still over 50 days for all the players out there who are interested to participate.
I'm going this time.
You are? You
yeah. No,
last year Sean was going.
No, well, he's going to try too. He hasn't started yet, but he's going to go out there. But I'm going.
Good.
I'm going to go to GT. I'm going to be one of the old guys, and I'm going to win it. So.
Yay.
I had Brian Highcutter here. He gave me all his tips. So I'm in.
So everyone out there, get out and download that demo and participate for your chance to win the grand prize of driving a Nissan at the 24 Hours of Dubai.
Yep.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah, with Darren.
Yep. And Sean.
And yeah,
we're
and
both
Sean. I was
win.
going to say that.
Yeah, we're going to both win the American.
Next up, Rearview Mirror with John Hill, and he's prepping for his Formula One season. So here he is.
Now, ever since I was a young teen, and that does go back a ways, I've always loved reading about or watching Formula One. It's not like I had a lot of options back then. In America, it was the Wide World of Sports covering the Monaco Grand Prix, and that was it. In print, it was Car and Driver, and you could forget about any kind of newspaper coverage. So you had this incredible race with the Monaco Grand Prix, incredible locales, killer yachts in the harbors, and the casinos, where if you didn't own a tuxedo, you were out of luck. So the last thing I was doing before iRacing was racing with the crazy guys over at Race World Series. We were doing the Codemasters F1 2010 game, and we were one race into the sequel, F1 2011, when I tried iRacing's Formula One car, the Williams FW31. And I gotta tell you, I just wasn't feeling it anymore for the F1 game. Sorry, Codemasters. Just imagine, every technical adjustment you can make in the real car, the Williams FW31, you can also do in the sim. And once iRacing added their new tire model and I got my A-Class license, I knew I was going Formula One racing. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I'm not a super fast sim racer. Anybody that has raced with me already knows this. I will not be winning any F1 races, and I will never have a podium finish. However, I am not going to let that stop me from having a good time. I will race that car, and I will not finish dead last. In fact, I hope to do a lot better than dead last. Now, at the time of this recording, I've already run my first race at Spa. I finished 9th, and the strength of field was 24.03. I could have done better, but then again, I could have done a lot worse. So I want to be the example for all the guys who might be too intimidated to run with the big boys. The way I see it, the more average ability guys racing, the better for the splits, and the super fast guys should have the tracks to themselves. Well, that's the theory. So until next time, I'm John Hill, wish me luck, and I hope to see you in my rear view mirror.
We'd like to thank John for another great segment of Rearview Mirror.
Yep.
And that's going to just about wrap up this week Inside Sim Racing, April 11th.
May. We're in May now.
May 11th edition. I don't know what's going on with me. This year is just going by way too fast.
You said that when you got here today.
I did. I just wish it was April, but it's not. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. And we do have a contest winner to announce before we head out.
We do. I'd like to thank all of the participants who tried to figure out where that picture was in the last show, and it was right under my rig, which I guess wasn't that hard. Next one's going to be harder, we promise. So Michael Elliott said it was the neon lights under my rig, and he got it correct, along with pretty much all the other 123 participants. So Michael, you win the DLC Gran Turismo 5 code. Email me at darren@insidesimracing.tv, and I will send that to you direct. So.
And we chose that winner random.
Yep.
So thank you guys all for joining in and participating. And please, if you have not liked our Facebook page yet, go to Facebook.com/Inside Sim Racing. Also visit our website, InsideSimRacing.tv, and talk to us on our forums. And
check out our new calendar.
Yeah, new calendar.
Yeah.
And also one other thing that we'd like to mention on YouTube.
No more comments.
No more comments.
You know what? We turned them off. We just got tired of the few idiots out there that just don't have anything constructive to say. So we apologize to all the people that have constructive things to say, that like to say them on YouTube, but we encourage you to come to our site and comment on them. We have video pages for every single one of our videos there with a comment section just like it is on YouTube. You just create a login that you can actually post in our forums or on those videos with the same login, and we welcome your comments there. So.
All right, well that's gonna wrap it up, and thank everybody out there for watching the show. Checker flag is out, and so are we.